President Obama will announce a package of gun proposals Wednesday expected to include an assault weapons ban and universal background checks. But with resistance to some of those measures solidifying in Congress, what can the president do on his own? The Post's Phil Rucker has been following this closely and joins us now. It's one of my regrets we haven't had you on the show until now, so I'm very happy to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
We'll take the question of what might get through Congress in a second, but what can Obama do on his own?
You know, there are a number of executive actions he could do. Some of them are executive orders, and some of them are administrative kind of steps he could do within some of the federal agencies. And Vice President Biden, through this task force, has identified 19 of them, and they range from, you know, making it easier for some of the agencies like the CDC and the NIH to do federal research into gun violence. There are other things like changing the structure of the ATF, that's the agency that regulates firearms purchases and sales and gun trafficking, kind of giving it a little bit more power, maybe putting it in the FBI or linking it with the FBI, maybe getting a permanent director there. They could do that by a recess appointment. There are other steps within the agencies. They could increase the way sort of mental health information is shared in the databases. These are all steps that could help the case, but are not nearly as powerful as some of the legislative actions that he wants to pursue, chiefly the assault weapons ban.
Yeah, that sounds like kind of small potato stuff. Is that the right way to read that?
That's right. I mean, the president talks a lot about a comprehensive plan, something that encompasses a lot of these measures, and certainly this would be part of that, these executive actions, but he wouldn't be able to remove some of these military-style guns from the streets by executive action. Something like that would require an act of Congress, same as requiring universal background checks, which is something that a lot of gun control advocates are supporting, saying, you know, it's important to make sure that everybody who purchases a gun goes through a background check so you can keep the guns out of the hands of criminals, the mentally ill, domestic violence abusers, people like that.
So if the major changes need to be made through Congress, what's on the table and what seems doable at this point? Because I feel like the momentum is shifting towards more gun rights, less gun control as the weeks since Newtown gather.
Yeah, that's important. Timing matters a lot here. And the vice president in his meetings over the last few weeks with different advocacy groups and stakeholders in this debate keeps repeating this point that time matters. He's got to push something through quickly. There are three main things that the administration wants to do with Congress. One is the assault weapons ban, and that's the most controversial. It looks like a lot of Republicans would be opposed to that. Even some Democrats would be opposed to that. But there's some more consensus around universal background checks. Currently, there's a loophole in the background check system, so if you buy a gun through a private sale or you buy it at a gun show, you don't have to go through that background check. The president wants to have background checks for everybody.
And that's 40% of guns right now.
Correct. So right now, 40% of the gun sales don't have a background check. The president wants to close that loophole. And then the third piece of this would be high-capacity ammunition magazines. They want to ban magazines that can carry more than 10 bullets.
Okay, Phil, thanks a lot for your reporting.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks. Yeah.